to the 10 Washington Podcast.
Well, welcome once again to another edition of the Ted Wallison Podcast. I be he and you be you, and thank you all for being here, and thank you for those of you who have taken the time to drop by www.tedwallison.ca. You can check out our past episodes there. Leave a comment, question, anything you want. It's all appreciated, as it is whenever you drop by our favorite supporter, Tom's Place, 190 Baldwin in the heart of Kensington Market. Tom Mihalik and his staff are incredible. I've known him since, 1996, 1997. Wow. And one thing I've noticed is as soon as a piece of clothing comes into a store, it's already knocked down, meaning it's cheaper than what you're going to buy across the street or down the road. But then he knocks that price down again. And then when you go to check out, you have a little chat with him. Lo and behold, the price comes down some more. You got to see it to believe it. They're there 7 days a week for you in the heart of Kensington Market, 190 Baldwin. That's where you'll find Tom's Place. And our thanks, as usual, to Paul Gatt, the executive producer of this program. And the music of this program brought to you by Bike Thieves. This week, a old friend of mine, and when I say old, meaning I've known her for a long time, she is in no way old. She's extremely talented this week. She's an award-winning comedian, actress, author, speaker. She loves animals. You may know her in this part of the world, at least from her days years ago with Mix 99.9 Radio. She did the morning show there. In fact, became the first solo regular host of a major market morning show. That's quite amazing. She also entertained us on the Weather Network, CTV's Entertainment Now, countless of other television shows, stand-up specials. My gosh, she's been everywhere, and this week she's here with us, and I'm thrilled that she is Carla Collins. Carla Collins, it is great to see you, my friend. My gosh, it's been a few years, hasn't it?
We're saying I don't remember how long.
I
So
don't
you know
know
it's been a
either.
while.
But it just doesn't feel like it's been a while. I know it has, but it just doesn't feel that way. But
No,
anyway,
time is a construct, and I've always been a fan, so I'm happy to talk to you.
I mean, I've known you for a long time, but as I do with every one of my guests, I try to do as much research as possible because inevitably, you say something and they go, "What are you talking about? I didn't do that." And you go, "Oh, so you don't want to look like an idiot."
No, because IMDb is wrought with error. So when I'm like, let me send you a bio. Please don't go off of IMDb.
I know. I actually interviewed somebody once, and I said something about their past, and they said, "No, I didn't do that." I said, "Well, then you should check your bio, or you should talk to your publicist because I got that off your webpage." No, you didn't. No, and he argued with me, right? And I just kind of said, "Okay, whatever." And
Awesome.
I thought, I'm sure as soon as we finished the interview, he went and checked and went, "Oh shit, he's right," because I did, and he was wrong. But nevertheless, I did not realize that you were born in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, yes, that is 100% true. Yep, I'm from the Sioux. These are not my original teeth, Ted. I actually know what ringette is and have played it.
Is it the national sport of the Sioux? Is it ringette?
Well, I would say hockey is.
Yeah.
I believe, and I don't know if this is folklore, but no, it's true. I believe that Tony Esposito babysat me once or twice.
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's more than possible. What I didn't realize as well is you went to school in Guelph. You went to Guelph Vocational School, and from what I recall, when I was going to high school, vocational school was like women went there to learn how to type and do shorthand, and guys went there to build cabinets and stuff.
Well, it's Guelph Collegiate. No, it's Guelph Collegiate. And vocational school.
Well, then again, here's the information. I'm not making it up. I got it from somewhere.
I went to Centennial for 2 years, and then I moved over to Guelph Collegiate because they had a better theater arts and language program. And I'm literally an artsy fartsy, so I went over there for those. I was absolutely drawn to that high school. I used to drive by it. We didn't live near it. We lived near the nicer rich one, and I just said I want to go to GC. and they were just the best years. And I was valedictorian. See, here's where we're talking
And
about
prom queen.
no, that's on IMDb. And the funny thing is, because I have an old joke, Ted, that said, I was, because most of it's true. I said I was valedictorian, captain of the debate team, president of student council, and prom queen. Of course, I was homeschooled, is the punchline. And so everything, but we didn't have a prom queen. But I imagine I could have nailed that too. I was pretty ambitious in high school, Ted.
Okay, there we go. Already, there's faults in my research, and I apologize for that. But you were valedictorian, which is, and I'm thinking, was it a funny speech? I'm sure it was.
It was. My brother made this wonderful scrapbook for me that had been in storage for a long time. So I literally just looked at, because he typed out I'm very close to my younger brother, my valedictory address. And I just read the first line and it said, "Welcome back to Guelph Collegiate, where throughout the years, each of us has grown, except for maybe Mr. Uwali, who was a teacher no one liked and he was a short king." So, Mr. Uwali
Now,
took a hit in my first one-liner.
okay, I'm sure he really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Were you surprised when you were voted valedictorian? I mean, that's usually not always, but usually that's like the person with the best marks or close to it. I'm not saying that you didn't that you weren't a great student, but were you a great student?
I was a great student, Ted. I was very much a nerd, really great student. But I think to be honest, they used to vote in someone who was on the drama council, I think. I think they also voted in who they thought would be entertaining. So it was a little bit you had to have a certain average, and then your classmates voted on you. So it was a thrill. Mr. Olson, still a Facebook friend of mine, my art teacher, came in and I remember the moment he told me. And I was
Wow.
thrilled, but I'm like, they just want a really funny speech.
Now, at that point, had you done any public speaking? Were you in the drama club? Were you cool with standing in front of people on a stage? Because most people that for their first time, that would be like freeze.
Yeah, interesting. No, I did have a huge nerve problem, but I still, I don't know, maybe it was exposure therapy, but I did win a speech about humor in grade 6. I think it was the Kiwanis
Wow.
Club. What is it? Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs. So I used to, and then I took that same, because I'm lazy, speech that I won in grade 6, rehashed it, and won another competition in high school. Always about humor. So yeah, I
See,
worked the system.
yeah, you did. You. I remember guys taking essays and speeches and things from their older brothers or sisters, and then using them as when it came time. But to use your own speech and repeat it, that's even more inventive.
And it's kind of
You're,
like
you're,
meta plagiarism.
yeah, exactly. You're trekking into radio, into the radio world. How did that come about?
That's kind of an interesting story, actually. I went to University of Western and I was
Mm-hmm.
taking languages. And the third year, they had a wonderful exchange program where you could go to France, which I qualified for. And at the time, I'm very bitter about this. The next year, they started going to the south of France. But at the time, we went to Besançon, which was the exact same weather as Canada.
Oh, excellent.
And yeah, it was a medieval town, just a magical year. It really was. But I'm a tall girl, Ted. This does figure into the
Mm.
story. And the Frenchmen, for the most part, or petite, shall we say, they're a little bit on the petite side. And there was a guy called Olivier who was tall and hot. And I met him and he said, "I work in radio." And I said, lying, because I'd never even thought about it. I said, "Oh, I love radio. I'd love to work in radio." Not at all. I don't know. I was doing drama and I think I wanted to be an actress at the time. And he brought me to radio RVF in this small town of Besançon. Nothing happened with Olivia and I. That didn't pan out, Olivier, but I started doing middays at this small radio station in Franche-Comté because I think when I speak, I mean, like anyone, they felt I had an accent when I spoke French. I thought I was
Right.
speaking fluently. And so it was Les Heures Chaudes avec Carla. the hot hours with Carla.
Right.
And then I remember thinking, well, radio is kind of a good combination, because I didn't want to be, a starving actress, even though everything I choose seems to be in the starving artist category. But so don't know. I mean, my life is a festival of bad decisions and good times.
Yes.
So when I graduated from Western, I did do, my thesis on Voltaire, did the master. I did a few months, at Ryerson, and I thought I really fell in love with radio. It was a bit of a first love, because I don't need to tell you, you're the radio czar, but the intimacy and it's live, and so and that's what got me into my radio career.
Well, I can understand because we seem fascinated with foreign with accents as well, British accents. When you get somebody on television or radio, you go, "Oh wow!" You turn up the volume a little bit loud because it's let's listen, check out that British accent or whatever. So I could see how they would be attracted by your accent in France, and you're also a very witty and intelligent person. So you move into radio. Was Toronto the first market that you worked in?
No, it wasn't. So moving to radio, yeah, because I guess they thought that the accent in Franche-Comté was a bit nasty. Some are better than others in French. I think they're all lovely. But I I ended up, my first radio gig was in Kitchener Waterloo,
Mm-hmm.
and someone heard me working. Gosh, I don't know. Was I on the overnights? Probably. I think it was overnights, and someone heard me and brought me to Montreal, where I did evening radio at 990. I don't know. It changed formats so often. 990 Chicken and Ribs. I'm not sure, but it was the AM side of Chum FM, which is Chom rather, which is very well known.
CKGM?
Yeah, it was CKGM.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I first got there, it was an oldies station, and I'm in my early 20s. And I believe I said it was the Isley Brothers. Oh, I had a bunch of great malapropisms, by the way. And then the program director, she was pretty, was kind of a viper, introductory to radio. So it was basically, listen, you've got to stop sounding young. Don't stop saying you're from Ontario or Toronto. People don't like Toronto here in Montreal.
No,
And so I
no.
was like, and then at one point, I've always used my name because it is my name, and I thought it was. Then we changed formats, and we were top 40, and I became Charlie, which I'd stumble over my own name because I've always used my. And so I'm like, you're with Charlie. I don't know, but so I did radio there, and then
What year would that have been in Montreal?
in the oh boy, I think that would have been. I'm trying to think. I think it was 1989, 1990, because then I went on to the Weather Network.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm on national TV, bitches. I don't need this. I don't know. I was very excited to be on the Weather Network. It was a great time. It was early days at the Weather Network. And then when I don't know, so I was in Montreal for, I don't know, 4 years, I believe. And then got a job. I don't know. And then Gary Slade hired and fired me several times.
I know that feeling.
Yep. Well, it's a support group. We meet on Tuesdays.
That's right.
Gary's
cry on your shoulder this week or mine? Yeah.
I think Gary's hired and fired me twice since I've started talking to you on this podcast.
Yes. I know.
Just
He could be
assume
firing
that
us right now.
He is.
Yeah.
So I did traffic with Tom Rivers and Larry Fedoruk, and then Tom was gone, and then a new program director came in, the guy who made us say Mixasaga, and when a new guy came in, I was gone, and I was like employed, like my face was in the, I was employee of the month or something, and I was very shocked by being fired because I'm like, what, like fired from the whole station? It was new to me, and I was a kid, and 3 months later, I got a job at CTV.
That's one thing they should teach. Well, there's not many colleges around anymore that are teaching radio courses because for a number of different reasons. But that's one of the things they should teach you is Be ready to move a lot when you start. I mean, back then, when I started, it was Brampton, Peterborough, Montreal, Hamilton. It was just all over the place. Try getting a credit card because, well, why can't you hold down a job, sir? You don't understand. I'm moving from market to market so I can better my situation. The bank guys just look at you like an idiot. So they should teach you that, and they should teach you get ready to get your ass canned any day because it happens a lot.
And not to, necessarily take it personally.
No.
Because I was just like Bambi falling on the ice. I was blink, blink, what? but why? And then okay, new regimes come in, and then when I was working in TV, and I filled in, I had a wonderful time. And then I thought, ugh, I hate morning radio. I don't like the early hours. And I was like, I don't know if radio's for me. So I would fill in for Aaron and had the wonderful opportunity of working with Don Daynard. We were extremely close. And then I filled in for Marilyn with Roger. So I'm like, this is perfect. It's just a little soup zone for radio while I do my full-time TV gig. And then Slate brought me back in. And I ended up becoming, I didn't say I did it well, by the way. Didn't last for years and years. But I was the first woman to anchor a major market morning show.
Which for some people today think, well, is that an accomplishment? That was a huge accomplishment. Huge back then.
Which was kind of embarrassing at the time. I'm like, guys, it's 2001. Like, when you're not in first place. Like, if it doesn't work out, I don't know, try a donkey. Like, I just thought it was kind of sad that it took that long, and that it was kind of made a big, to be honest, Ted, like I was like, I don't know if this should be made a big deal of.
But
it was it was Carla and Company, and that was pretty unheard of.
And you when you were doing the Weather Network thing, because I don't recall seeing you in the Weather Network. It's not appointment television for me. Sorry, Weather Network.
Oh, you weren't a weather hound?
It should be living in this part of the world. But were you the same as you were on there? You didn't they didn't say, okay, straighten up and do this completely seriously, or could you kind of goof off a little bit?
Well, that's also good. These are good questions because they kind of really lend themselves to fun stories. Again, early days at the Weather Network, wonderful boss. And it was also a bit like ghost broadcasting, Ted, because at the time, the English version, the Weather Network in Canada was headquartered originally in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And only the French side was broadcast in Montreal. So no one ever saw me. And then I'd land in Toronto. They're like, hey, there's a lot of weatherheads out there. And, we're doing 5-minute increments. And so, when it's raining in Saskatchewan for the 40th day, I was doing shtick. And also there was a lot of technical problems and we were live. And one time I was standing against the green screen and it was just a giant word fog. And so I'm just standing next to a giant letter F that looked like a filthy version of Sesame Street. And I spoke for the entire 5 minutes. I don't know about what, anything, just random, stories about. And I remember my boss saying, you could have just stepped out of the shot. And I'm like, I don't know, the red light was on.
There's another guy, of course. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So a lot of times he was the one who said, why don't you try stand up? Get this out of your system. And I'm like, all right. But I had a wonderful time at the Weather Network. Wonderful people I worked with. Wonderful boss.
There was another well-known stand-up comedian, television host, who worked at one point as a weatherman. That would be David Letterman.
It would be.
Who got fired from his job for saying the hail is coming down the size of canned ham. Which
yes, right.
What a great line. Of course, his boss didn't think it was, and whoosh, gone.
And I mean, what an innocent and really innocuous beige thing to be fired over. So, I mean, it was like premature cancel culture. Yeah, I mean, my boss was pretty sweet, but he did say, you can get this out of your system, maybe at the Comedy Nest.
And then how did you transition to CTV? I guess was it Entertainment Now, Entertainment Tonight? Which one was it?
No, well, first I briefly did stand up in my 20s, and it was a nightmare because I did not have thick enough skin.
Yeah.
I made it to Just for Laughs. I regret this, but it's still pretty male dominated. But and again, so I'm no feminist or anything, but my gosh, it was brutal for me. And the papers were mean. I did this big show I got to host, and I'd only done it for a couple months. And it was like Ray Romano and Jeff Foxworthy, and we got a standing ovation. And my parents came, and I was high as a kite. And the next day in the Montreal Gazette was this very it's a picture, with me in a microphone and almost a uncompromising pose, and it said, "Weather girl Bambi tries comedy," and I was so heartbroken.
Ugh.
And I'm like, but I did really well, and that was it for me. And I remember my mom was like, "You can't let people bother you," but they did at the time. And I said, they're just horrible. I don't need this. I'm working in radio and TV. That will be safer. And I skedaddled out. And then,
I
yes, well, when I got fired from the mix the first time, I uh, I ended up taking over for someone who was hosting Eye on Toronto, just like Eye on Springfield at The Simpsons. And Eye on Toronto led to E Now and Shake Carla and I don't know, a lot of shows at CTV.
Yeah. Do you miss radio? If you had a chance to go back right now, if somebody said, "Here's an hour, a couple hours a week, whatever, do whatever you want," would it interest you at all?
Yeah, it would. I did Sirius XM for a while, and then they decided because they were paying me, and they're like, "Hey, everybody else will do this for free because podcasts sort of came along."
Mm.
And unlike you, Sirius XM was my first foray into talk radio. I would love to, talk radio would interest me. I was never a good DJ, Ted. Just like, hey, we're getting wattage in your cottage on the mix. Like that's, I'm
But
sure
you,
I walked and ran a few posts. I wasn't, I liked the banter and the intimacy and the vibe when you had great chemistry, with the others on there. And I enjoy interviewing quite a bit. And so, yeah, I think, and obviously, I think I'm legally forced to do a podcast. I do have a great name for a podcast I'm thinking of starting called TNR, Trap, Neuter, Release. It combines my love of animals. So, yeah, so
you,
I
you,
think I,
you would do great in talk radio for sure. If you can stay away from what the majority of so much of talk radio is, especially in the U.S., which is politics. And I know you don't do politics in your act. We talked about this before we went on Mike. And I know supposed professionally you're not supposed. Don't tell them what you talked about before. Nobody cares. Yeah, they do. We talked about
well,
the
we
fact
didn't. I
you
just
you
said
don't
I'll
want to
talk
talk
to you
about
about anything.
politics. I know, but you said, but I don't do a lot of politics, and I said, good. I'm glad. It's refreshing because God, we seem to be guided by politics, our conversations on a daily basis, whether it's with your mother, your brother, your father, the neighbor, inevitably kind of that seeps in, and it's ugly nowadays.
It is. It's so divisive. And I
Yeah.
kind of see my comedy as an escape, and I'm trying, I mean, I know this is going to sound trite, but honest to God, I'm trying to bring people together and make them laugh. I prefer absurdism. I prefer goofy. I prefer physicality. All of
Yeah.
these, I have like one. I've had it for years and years too. I have one joke because it always changes, and it was called the president's joke, and it's like these sexual positions named after presidents, and it always kills. And even that I've been kind of shying away from because listen, there are a lot of comedians who are very knowledgeable. They do politics well. They're passionate about it. I don't have any interest in it. I also think it's, I mean, not to sound weird, but I think a lot of it's a distraction. It takes up so much energy, and I think we're being played by both. Like I think it's all one side. I think it's one bird, two wings, and and it just serves to get people, as you say, in arguments
Yeah.
over things that I don't think are really close to anyone's actual life or heart.
No.
I don't know.
Well, it's kind of sad when all of a sudden you see people say when you ask them and say, "Well, how's your friend Bob?" I don't talk to Bob anymore. You guys have been friends since you're like 6. Yeah, but he's on that side. I'm on this side. Really? Sad, you know?
And
So,
I think that's purposeful. They want everybody fighting
yeah,
over it.
that's a good
I
point.
do.
Ted Woloshyn returns in a moment.
I've had the great fortune to say that I've been associated with one of Toronto's finest names in men's clothing for more than 25 years. Tom's Place. Founded by Tom Mahalick's father in 1958, Tom's Place offers brand name men's apparel at unbeatable prices. But more than that, they boast a long serving, knowledgeable, and friendly staff that can assist you whether you're looking for casual or formal attire. And they have plenty of first class tailors on site. In addition, Tom and his family are well known for their philanthropic work. So if you're looking to deal with great people who can fulfill your clothing desires at outstanding prices, do yourself a favor and visit Tom's Place. They're open weekdays from 11 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 5, and Sundays noon to 5. You'll find Tom's Place at 190 Baldwin in the heart of Kensington Market. Or check them out online at toms-place.com. Tom's Place will suit you.
Now back to Ted Woloshyn.
People starting to get to know you through this podcast who didn't know you. Okay, they're thinking, okay, well, this woman's very talented as a scholar. We can call you that. You're a valedictorian, so you're a scholar.
I'll take it.
Okay, absolutely. A weather person. You weren't an actual meteorologist, though, not right?
Ted, I was an on-camera meteorologist, but that's just a title.
Weather specialist, as some television stations like to
Yeah,
say. A weather
exactly.
specialist, stand-up comedian, disc jockey, television person, but also an author. And your first book, Angels, Vampires, and Douchebags. Not exactly if found in the children's section at your library.
No, I know that's not. No, it's I felt it. I think it was if not the first one, at least one of the first sort of comedic wellness or self-help books.
Mm-hmm.
So those are.
The reason I mentioned that it wasn't found in the children's section because your second book, or one, I don't know, I think it's your second book, is
It is.
Wawa Way, which is an homage to your late Chihuahua, Dr. Zia. Now that is a
Dr.
children's
Zira,
book.
as in what's that? Well, it is. It's in the guise of a children's book. It is written as one, but it covers some pretty serious topics. So it's a children's book in the same way that Le Petit Prince, sorry, my friend, The Little Prince, which is my favorite book,
Mm-hmm.
Watershed Down. There are some. I mean, I still don't know what The Little Prince was about. It's so existentialist, and I know I read that as a kid, and I'm like, I don't know. He's on some planet with a fox and a rose. I'm not sure what's happening, but I love it. So this is also meant to be an inspirational book, but it's a bit of Tuesdays with Corgi. It's dealing with grief.
Yeah.
It deals with in a subversive way, like the cats and dogs. That's my sort of like as in racism, and preconceived notions, because Zira gets along with the cats and dogs. So there's small chapters and there's a little mini lesson, and I think it's a good confidence builder. So I wouldn't say it'd be like the first book a child would read, but it would be in the young adult category. Like I
Okay.
think once you hit double digits, I'd say 10 years old and on. And also I love animals, and I just thought, wouldn't it be nice to have something when you don't know what to say, because there are no words, and someone loses a pet.
I know.
Would be the book I'd give them, and I didn't have any intentions of publishing it. I wrote it as when the last of my 3 dogs was dying, and it was just a little bit of an exercise in grief. And then someone read it and said, let's do this.
And
So-
have you heard from people who have lost pets, and if so, what was their reaction? Was it beneficial to them? Cathartic?
Well, it has not been released.
Okay.
I did do a friends and family, like, what what do you think? Should I pursue this? But what happened is I did this reality show here in LA called Carla for a couple of years.
Right.
And on season 2, my dog Buster passed while we were filming. And, I was Buster was everything. I was just a wreck. I mean, I think I passed out when I was told he has cancer, and, there's a film crew there, and I'm just look like a blowfish from crying. And there was a decision to be made. Do we keep filming? And I thought, maybe would this, would it help people? Because I'm just a wreck. And they said, I think it would. So I de facto became someone people would talk to about losing their dog on Facebook and Instagram, because that was very, well, we did it in real time.
It.
And so
Do
I
you
just,
remember?
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that it's for people who don't have a pets, or people who've never had a pet. It's hard to understand, and they don't understand the concept when people say, "Well, it's like a family member," and they look at you like you've fallen from a fruit truck or something. But it's such a personal thing. I remember talking. You remember Christy Blatchford, the great journalist? She wrote for
Yes.
the
Yes,
Star
of
and the Globe.
course.
Sweetheart, and just
Absolutely.
a brilliant award-winning journalist. I remember her writing a story about her dog after her dog had passed. I wept through like three quarters of it. And I remember, like,
Yeah.
some years later, I was writing a weekly column for the Sun, and I said to her, I lost my dog on the weekend, and I'm going to write a story about him. And she looked at me and she said, "Good luck." And that was it. I thought, well, that was kind of weird, because we were friends, right? But then I thought, started to write it. I sat down. I started to write. About 2 lines into it, I shut my computer off and walked out of the room. I said, "I can't do this." Weird, huh?
Well, the Wawa way I wrote Zira's been gone for a couple of years. And because it was just so hard, and again, it was just sort of like journaling.
Yeah.
And to address your first, like, I think, well, again, you can divide the world. I feel like Kamala Howard, now I have this joke. There's people who love their pets and serial killers. No. But I think the other day, because I was talking with the person who, I had a meeting here about the book, and ironically, on a day that another dog that I sort of co-owned in Canada passed. And we were talking about how when people understand that it can be, and I know this might be controversial, it's actually sometimes worse than when a person dies, because dogs only live in almost like their childhood. It's unconditional love. They never piss you off. They can't speak. So it's like this pure angel, pure love leaving your life.
Yep.
And sometimes it's harder to reconcile than a fellow human. So,
Well, I,
yeah,
I
so
think I think you hit the nail when you said they never do anything to bother you, to upset you. They don't. They're not against you. Even your closest, best friend in the world, sometimes you want to tell them, "Take a hike, Jack." And you never
exactly.
say
You
that.
get it.
You never said to your dog or your cat the F word, unless they wet, on the floor or something, and then you forgot about it a minute later. Whereas with a friend, you can tell them that and not talk to them for a month.
Exactly. Yeah, your dog, you're not going to get into a little contretemps about, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? Get out of here. But
Yes.
like,
I don't talk to my dog anymore because he voted for the wrong guys.
my dog is a flat earther. I don't know what to do with him. So I'd written this, and then it's just all been sort of serendipitous that, and at the time, I have a friend who does visual art, like fine art.
Yeah.
And she was going to illustrate it. And then she was moving, she had so much going on in her life, so I just shelved it. And then and again, because Ted, my joke is, oh, because stand-up's not unstable enough, I decided to go back into fine art.
Yes.
Because God, how am I not a billionaire? Which I hadn't done since high school, literally.
Yeah.
But it's what I wanted to do. I love art, but as a kid, would never leave the art room because I was never happy enough with it. So it was immensely frustrating. And I thought, oh, I don't know if there's a future in this, both for my own, mental health and I don't know that, unless you Warhol or Basquiat it up, I don't know if this is going to work. And I was doodling, and my brother, this is exactly 2 years ago, who was at my place for the holidays, and he's the head of the art history program at the private girls' school where he teaches in New Zealand. And he was looking at me doodle, and he said, not for nothing, but you kind of have a style. What would you do if you could do art? And I said, I don't know. I like combining things. And so I said, well, maybe I would do like vision boards for people, because I think that the usual vision board looks crazy because people are cutting things out of a magazine. It looks like, you're sending a hostage note, like a ransom note. You've got someone
Yes,
hostage and
yes.
you're like, oh, get me a special on Netflix. All right, I guess. So I said, it would be fun to do vision boards for people. Then they'd have an original piece of art and they could put it on their wallpaper or So I started doing them and I gave them to friends and then people started ordering them and now it's my side hustle. And I've got a deadline on what I'm doing today for someone's birthday. And it's also a great gift for the person who has everything and or spiritual or a narcissist. I don't care. I don't care who my clients are.
Yeah.
And I have a very, a lot of my art looks like a box of Skittles threw up in a good way. Like I'm very colorful. They're very happy. And this person whom I didn't even know, I was talking to someone who was in branding. It was just a random thing in Dallas at a party. And he was looking at my vision board cards and he said, boy, this would be great for a children's book. And I said, oh, I kind of wrote a children's book, but I haven't looked at it because I couldn't, because I would have an existentialist breakdown every time I reread the wall. I tried to edit it. But just like when you closed your laptop, but I guess enough time went by and I thought, I think this should get out there. So now I'm in the midst of doing the illustrations.
I think you should do it. I think
I'm 5 in, so I've got the cover and I've got a deal. So this is happening.
why not? Why not? I want to talk about what you're doing, and you're coming back to this neck of the woods. This neck of the woods being Ontario, to do a
Yes.
series of shows, stand-up shows, and this is a fascinating concept. Chuckles and Chill starts off with you doing what, a half an hour to 40 minutes of stand-up, followed by meditation. Now, when I first read this, I thought, well, what a great gag, what a great concept for a comedy bit. Then I realized, no, it's not. Explain this to me, won't you, woman?
Well, it's two separate things. Like when I'm headlining at Yucks for this tour, I'm just doing straight up stand up.
Right. Okay.
Like that's just pure 45 minutes to an hour of me tickling you, of just me doing my act, playing with the audience and having fun. So I do a lot of just obviously when I go, up here at the Ice House or do Yucks, it's just stand up. But for some corporates, and I started this over the pandemic. It's half an hour of stand up followed by an authentic. I'm doing one tonight, an authentic, legit guided meditation. And I know, and it sounds weird. And a lot of people are like, well, that's like, or, having the Bloods and Crips over to brunch at Gwyneth Paltrow's house. Like, no one's going to be happy.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's laughter and meditation put you in the same gamma brainwave. So for me, it made sense because, I don't know if you remember much about me, but I'm very hyper. I'm a chat monster. Look at this interview. I'm always shaking like a chihuahua on meth. I am very high key and high energy for the most part. So I always like yoga or doing something that gets rid of some energy before I can try to meditate. And my folks were into, transcendental meditation back in the 70s, so I grew up on it.
Okay.
And I know it's really effective, but I couldn't really settle myself. So the idea is people are laughing, they're releasing endorphins, they're getting rid of some energy, or they're hearing about my life and then just feeling a hell of a lot better about theirs, Ted. Maybe they're like, I don't know, this chick, my God,
Thank God I'm not
things
her.
aren't so bad for us. Joyce, we're doing great. And then everybody sits back or lies back. And having done a lot of radio and voiceover work like yourself, I do have the dulcet tones. I've got the phone sex operator adjacent voice, I guess, or the OnlyFans voice now for the kids. And
Yes.
then I just put on, and so I just take people through, because I just try to take the woo and preciousness out of meditation, because everyone here in LA is a guru, and it's all BS. They're all cult leaders, or this is my spot in the meditation room. I'm like, is it a timeshare? What, are you kidding me? No, my yoga mat always goes here. So I just thought, what if I just take the preciousness out of it? We have fun. And people were told, my friends were too intimidated to go because they're like, apparently I've been meditating wrong. I'm like, it's just breathing. No one's meditating wrong. It's not Fight Club or some weird Illuminati crap that only chosen ones, and like I do this whole thing's like, I was able to open up my heart chakra and receive messages from the ascended masters, Archangel Michael, and the circle of elders, which is helping me as a light worker. I'm like, I don't know anything you're saying. Stop it. So mine is just like, just going inside, relaxing, taking a moment. Just
I'm thinking it's got to be more difficult to do if you're working like a bigger. I don't know how big the crowds are when you do this. Like if a corporation hires you, are you performing and then doing the meditation in front of like 20 people, 200 people? Because I'm thinking the larger the crowd, the
it
more
can be
difficult it's
either.
got to be.
Well, there's something great about group energy and everybody doing it together too. And there's
Yeah.
something about that kind of, if you're into that, they're just like people are into group prayer, right? The more people, um, so it
Okay.
can be very intimate and just a few people, or as you say, 20, or it can be larger. And I mean, and again, because I'm not some weird Gestapo about it and saying, no one can cough, get out. My whole thing is like, listen, it's life. A cell phone may go off. A truck may back up.
Yeah.
I might burp. We don't know. That's part of meditation. You just let that float off. That's we're overstimulated. It might happen. Just go back to your breath. So
Were you
yeah,
surprised at
it's too.
how popular the concept has become?
I think people are more open to it now. I mean, it's almost like I have to be a drug dealer. Like the first one's free because it's a bit experiential.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
people try one and they're like, oh my God, what? And they all are very, I think I'm someone people who are just not afraid to tell me. I tell you, I took one look at your hair and I thought, no. I'll just hear a lot of things where I'm just like, I'm standing right here. All right. And people will say, I didn't know what the hell this was, and I got dragged here, and I did one, it was really interesting. I did one recently at a senior's residence.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking, and my Pilates friend got me the gig, and I thought, that was one of the first times I've been mildly panicked or nervous before a gig, because she's like, it's a wealthy seniors residence, and she's like, oh no, the bullies are here, and I'm like, fantastic. So one woman, I said, she said, are you coming to see the comedian? She's like, no, I hate comedy and I hate comedians. And I
Oh,
was standing right
great.
there, and she had like a cowboy boot on her shirt, and I said, well, I'm very sad to hear that, Dorothy. I thought you'd be my reverse mortgage cowgirl, but here we are. So she came. Legit, half of them were only there because they thought it was bingo. And I took a deep breath, but you know how I got them all in the palm of my hand as I was like, hey, everybody, I used to be married to Tyrone Power Jr., because everyone's going to get that reference.
Yeah.
And I joked that, and then I said, so really, my real name is Carla Collins Power, and I'm not going to get married again unless there's someone here with the last name Ranger, because Carla Power Ranger would be a fun. And I
Would be.
got them because I'm like, I don't know how to get this crowd. And I said, has anyone meditated here before? A lot of them didn't. But can I tell you, they were the most, which is wild. These 80-plus-year-olds were the most receptive to this, and and like they just didn't fight again. They loved it.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
great.
never it's like a gig, Ted. You know how sometimes you're hosting a golf gig and you're like, oh, my buddies, it's gonna be great. And sometimes it's like, why is it a bit of a nightmare? And then other gigs you think, oh no, nuns and ninjas. I don't know who to, and it's great.
I
Like,
wouldn't. I would be concerned though if I was doing that. About to do comedy followed by somehow convince these people to meditate. Because you're dealing with with some geriatrics, that the meditation might turn into a coma for some of
well, if I'm lucky, I would be like, look how strong I'm at this. People did. There was some snoring, Ted. I won't lie to you. But no, everybody survived that. Everybody was still with me at the end. So um, I think they just enjoyed the mellowness.
them. Yeah, that sounds like a great. It does. It really does. I thought about that at one point. I said that's kind of like having sex followed by a cigarette.
It really is. I might steal that.
Steal
Oh,
away.
someone else said, "Oh, I get it. The comedy is the lube into a deeper state of relaxation." I'm like, sure, but yeah, it's you don't think they're going to go together, but
well, just we got that cleared. We did straighten it out that this is not what people will see when they come to see you at the various Yuck Yucks locations. They're going to see
yeah,
you being you, talking about everything but politics. And I'm sure that a
yes,
lot of
pretty
people will be
much.
refreshed to hear that.
Yeah, I think I play with the audience a lot, but mostly I'm just hitting on everyone. Like I'm not a mean comic,
No.
and yeah, they will hear. And I do make a lot of jokes about spirituality because talk about what you know.
Eh,
Which some people like I do horoscope shaming. I do a lot of things like that. So yeah, they will hear 45, but it's absolutely just straight up stand up. So don't worry.
well, the greatest asset that you have, in my opinion, and I believe this to be true with all the work that you've done on radio and in television and on the stage, is that you're so damn likable. And I'm
I'm
not
so
hitting on
damn
you.
no.
Likable.
Oh, thank you.
Well, and I mean that. I mean that.
Wow.
You're an affable. I can't. I don't know how many different words am I getting. Where's my thesaurus?
I
You're
don't know. You
just a
got
very
6 hours to stop, Ted.
yes, exactly. Stop it, please stop it. No more.
Please. What's another word though?
I mean that. I'm sure it'll be a wonderful evening. For people to find out more about where you're going to be there and how to get tickets and all that, the best place to go would be what? Your website?
Well, probably if they're going to go for tickets, they can just go to yuckyucks.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want information on where and when, the best place is really to follow me on Instagram, which is linked to my Facebook. So it's at Carla Collins Comedian, all C words, but the nice ones.
Yes.
And yeah, so
And it's comedian, not comedian.
it's just comedian. Come on. We don't need
No, I
labels,
know.
do we?
No. I'm just.
No, I'm just
Just
joking.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
want people to misspell that in their computer and get all frustrated.
yeah, and and I know, and I should, or if I get around to updating my website, they'll see it at carlcollins.com. But I'm looking forward to it being, as I'm like a reverse snowbird. I come back just right in the G spot of winter.
Yeah, I
In
was
fact, I
just
will
going
be
to say, boy, you got to be some kind of masochist to want to be coming back in this weather.
but these are when the good shows are because in the summer people like to be outside. So this is when
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
the fun shows. Like I'm going to be in Oshawa with a gay man for Valentine's, and I feel like that tracks for me. Ted Morris is hosting. I'll be in Oshawa. I mean, come on, Paris is so 5 years ago. Come to Oshawa for Valentine's.
Carla, it's been a real pleasure chatting with you. I really appreciate it. You've got a real special function coming up that I know you wanted to talk about, and I want you to mention it.
Thank you. Well, because you're a fellow animal lover, and
I
you were very
am.
kindly talking about the Wawa Way. On February 26th in Barrie at a fabulous venue, Donnelly's. It's an Irish pub, but there's a stage. Andrea Murray is going to be the host, and I'm headlining as a fundraiser for Cope Service Animals, which you can
Oh,
follow
cool.
them. Just a wonderful organization. Yeah, I mean, service dogs doesn't get any better than that. And I would love to have a sellout night because all the proceeds are going to Cope, and I'm going to sell prints of the book cover with and donate the proceeds to Cope. So it's really close to my heart. They're a fabulous organization, and this is how they stay afloat.
So all the information regarding that event in your tour, your Yuck Yucks Geeks, can all be you can find that on Instagram on Carla Collins, 2 L's, 1 I, 1 N, 1 S. And it's all
Yes,
there, right?
at Carla Collins Comedian, you'll find everything. Yuckyucks.com, and then Cope Service Animals if you want more information on that. But just follow me,
Okay.
and I'll get you all the information you can. And if you're in Barrie or Barrie adjacent, that would be wonderful.
Terrific. Thanks again. And thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget, we're back again next week. It's www.tedwallison.ca for more information. You can leave your comments and your thoughts and check out past episodes. As well, thanks to Tom Mahalik from Tom's Place for the great support he's given us. I've been with Tom since 1997. Wow. Great clothes.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he's a wonderful man. Boy, there's a guy who does an awful lot for the community. Generous is an understatement for sure. 190 Baldwin, 7 days a week. That's where you'll find them. And by the way, while you're online, don't forget to fill out your organ and tissue donation card. You can change or even save a life. Anytime. Have a great one.
Could have worn another shirt.